Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Thank you for coming to the Weekly Live for Relationship Communications. Welcome to this week's Weekly Live. I'm thrilled that you're here with me. And for those of you that are joining us for the first time, I'm Lisa DeToffol, and I'm the founder of Relationship Communications. It's my online community where I work with established and aspiring entrepreneurs. And today I'm going to be your host for the Relationship Communications Weekly Live, which is my weekly live stream show that airs every single Friday morning. I'm so sorry. I think we are having some technical difficulties. Give me just a moment to get everything fixed. Sorry about that. Okay, I think we're back to where we need to be now. It is my weekly live stream show that airs every Friday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. I do hope that you will add that to your calendar and make plans to join us every Friday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. If you are joining me live today, please do say hello. Let me know where you're coming in from. I would love to hear that. If you're watching this later, please do use hashtag replay. Let me know that you are watching this at a later time. My goal here is to share tactical and practical information to help you get where you want to go faster in your business than you can get on your own. I've been an entrepreneur now for 7 years, and I have made many mistakes. And I'm here to tell you I can help you move through them more quickly by sharing what I have learned through my experiences. Also, the Relationship Communications is a networking community, so I'm also sharing information around networking, how you can improve your networking, make the most of your networking, etc. So again, if you're joining me live, please do say hello. Let me know where you're coming in from. And we are streaming on various different platforms. So if you are joining us on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button or ring the bell so that you can be notified every time that we do go live. So, our topic today is how to improve your accountability. Accountability is so important. I was in a conversation yesterday where accountability was brought up in the conversation, and it's so important to keep us on track and keep us moving forward in the direction we're supposed to go. We'll dive into that in just a few moments. But before that, I want to introduce myself a little bit for those that may not know who I am. And I was a preschool teacher prior to starting my business for over 25 years. Then I had dreamed from working from home, but I had been through 2 messy divorces and been a single mom twice, and it just didn't seem possible at that time. I was the breadwinner for my household and a little bit scared to, take that chance and go out on my own. But then in 2012, when I met my husband, I could see the possibility of that dream coming true. However, it was not an easy task by any means. So with my husband's support, I started a training program to learn to be a virtual assistant, which also showed me how to start my own business. By the end of that program, I had a couple of clients and have continued to grow my business, and now the Tiger Eye Solution team as well that I established in 2021. Actually, I just added a new team member this week. So I'm super excited to get that person started with Tiger Eye Solution. So, of course, my life now looks a whole lot different than it did back then. This is my husband, Jeff, our children, Caleb, Matthew, and Alyssa, and my grandchildren, John Price, Hattie Joe, and Anakin. So they all keep me on my toes and keep me busy for sure. So let's talk about improving your accountability. So, everybody talks about accountability. Most people say, I need accountability. I don't have enough. I wish someone would hold me more accountable. How many of you have said that? I know I have in the past too. And I think what we really are saying is we're not getting the things done that matter the most to us, whether it's in our professional life or our personal life. There's important things in both areas that we need to be held accountable for and make sure that they're getting taken care of, right? Because what we do, we just keep doing and doing and doing and doing but we're not feeling the satisfaction of accomplishment and are not moving the needle forward on our goals, right? We all set goals back at the beginning of the year or the middle of the year or at the first of each quarter, ever how you set your goals. I set a goal. I celebrated 7 years back in July of having my business open for 7 years. So I set a goal at that time in July to gain 10 new clients between July and the end of the year. I have 7 more to go. And I think I can still reach that goal. So I have gained a few new clients since I set that goal, which is awesome. And, this is because we're not being deliberate about what we are doing. We all have reasons, jobs, family, pets, etc. Ton of stuff to do in our professional and personal life. And, I have some of those same things too. But here's the thing. When people are deciding whether or not to join me or enroll in the Networking Method Academy to help them with their networking efforts, my signature program, where I invite them to do, to take care of these things and to put networking. I just signed up for 2 networking events today. Later today, I will be attending 2 different networking events. I've attended at least 1 or 2 earlier this week. And I'm actually just signed up for an accountability challenge, so to speak. And my goal is a 4-week challenge. And my goal for that 4 weeks is going to be to attend at least 12 networking events. You have to get serious about whatever it is you need to do to move your business forward, right? So networking is definitely going to help me move my business forward, right? So in the next 4 weeks, I'm going to attend at least 12 networking events. So anyway, that's my goal. Again, you have to decide exactly what it is that you need to do to move the needle forward for you and your business, because these are 2 very specific problems to solve, right? And I think the thing with the accountability is that we have to realize if we don't step into it, that's the same thing as saying if you don't, make a decision in life, it's going to make the decision for you, basically. So if I didn't make that decision to join that challenge that I just joined, and if I didn't make the decision of what exactly I wanted to accomplish during that 4-week challenge, what would I be saying? That I really don't want to move my business forward. I really don't want to gain those 7 more clients before the end of the year, right? So I'm not going to let it say that. I'm going to take action and do what I need to do to move that needle forward, to gain those 7 new clients, to meet my goal that I set back in July, right? And, that's what I share with people that are thinking about signing up for the Academy. Because just making a decision, saying you want to sign up for something or anything, and then saying, I don't have the money or I don't have the time, etc., whatever it is, or just saying I can't. That's different. That's really giving away the accountability, and that's giving away your power, right? Because you really can, if you put your mind to it, you really can. I'm going to put those 12 networking events on my calendar. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, I can't, I don't have time. Yeah, I do have a lot of other things to do, but I'm going to be intentional and put those 12 networking events on my calendar for the next 4 weeks. I'm going to attend 12 different networking events to help move the needle forward in my business. And, by giving away your power, it doesn't feel very good, right? But if you decide, no, someone invited me to do XYZ or invited me to do, to do something, recently, and I made the decision I'm not going to do that because my financial goals are not aligned with that, or my professional goals are not aligned with that. And if that's the case, then that's fine. However, it's very different from I should, I shouldn't, I don't know. If she's invited me, I don't want to let her down. It's not that much money, whatever the reasoning is for you, right? And that's very different. And accountability is really at the core of that. We're going to talk about what accountability is specifically, and you may or may not like it, but we are going to talk about that. It's really about putting things through the filter of the decisions that you make. Let me say that again. It's about putting things through the filter of the decisions that you make. Because really, it would have been easier for me to say, no, I'm on the fence about XYZ. Right? It would not have been painful or horrible, but it would have been easier because you would have to move through all the gibberish in your head, right? Or you would say, it's very complicated, stressful, all the things. There's all kind of different reasons, excuses, whatever you want to call them, that you can put in there, right? So let's jump into this. Everybody wants more accountability. I looked it up in the dictionary. So this is the definition that I like best. Accountability is the willingness to accept responsibility for one's actions. Let me repeat that. Accountability is the willingness to accept responsibility for one's actions. So think about that for a minute. So here's the good news. Accountability is inside me, right? I don't need to rely on anyone. I don't need to have anyone to help me per se. But that's the bad news too. Stick with me for a minute because there's a way, a system that you can put in place that will support you through accountability. Here's the other thing. That accountability, and I really want to shine a flashlight on this because I think what happens is we beat ourselves up. So we say, I want to do XYZ, whatever it is. Then we don't do it. Then we feel bad about it. And then we start trash talking ourselves. And this is really hurtful. A hurtful cycle that we get into, right? And so the thing is, when we are accountable to ourselves and when we do what we say we're going to do, the opposite occurs. What happens is we start to trust ourselves. We start to feel like we are trustworthy. We start to present ourselves differently in the world or in our workspace, right? Because we are not thinking about ourselves like someone can't keep their word, so to speak, right? So here's another one. We will think we don't have the willpower. The support systems that, that's what's critical. So let's talk about that. Me staying in shape let's just use this for an example. Me staying in shape for a second. So in order for me to be fit or stay in shape and maybe lose the weight or get to the weight that I want to be, I have to put a system in place, right? And it's the same thing with accountability. So the systems are, I look in the refrigerator or the pantry and say, do I have all the food I need to get through the week? The right foods, the nutrition or the healthy foods that I need to get me through the week, because I'm watching my weight. I want to get to a certain weight, but I don't need to stop eating, right? So maybe on Sunday evenings, I go look in the refrigerator or the pantry and say, do I need all the food I need to get me through the week? Is there enough lettuce, tomato, cucumbers, bananas, all the things that I need to eat to stay healthy? Or is it all there? That's number one. Number two is I schedule lunch into my day. Because when I didn't do that, when I didn't put the support systems in, what happened was at 2:00 in the afternoon, I come out of my office for a 15-minute break and I'm starving. So what's likely going to happen if I come out of the office at 2:00 in the afternoon for a 15-minute break and I'm starving? I start eating whatever, potato chips or whatever I can find, just because I feel like I'm starving, right? Because I'm hungry. And that's not a system that supports me. It supports my goal of getting to a certain weight, right? My exercise is also on the calendar. So today I have a meeting at 5. I'll be walking. Whether it's outdoors or whether it's indoors, I have a path in my house too if I have to do it indoors. But at 5 p.m. today, I will be taking my walk. It's already on the calendar, so I don't have to fight with myself about you're not going for your walk because it's too cold or it's too hot or, whatever the case may be. It's already in place. So it's important to have those support systems. So it's the same thing with your business. Just like the other example I gave, I set a goal back in July to gain 10 clients between July and the end of the year. I've already gained 3 of those. I've got 7 more to go. So that's why I joined this 4-week challenge, so that people in the challenge can hold me accountable for attending those 12 networking events. Right? That's the system I have in place to meet my goal that I set back in July. But like I said, it's the same thing. Whatever your goal is for your business, just put a simple system in place. It's really simple. It's just not easy sometimes, but it is kind of simple. If you follow the system, then you're going to reach the goal you're trying to reach. The thing is that, you just have to sit down and think it through for a minute. How am I going to hold myself accountable to do XYZ, whatever it is? So let's talk about an accountability plan. Okay. That's the definition. Sorry about that. So the first thing is, when we say we're going to do something, we give ourselves too much time and we forget about it. By the time the time period is over, like giving yourself a week to do XYZ. Like I'm giving myself 4 weeks because I've joined this accountability challenge, is actually what it's called. Because I've joined this accountability challenge, it's a 4-week accountability challenge. I'm going to be held accountable for attending 12 networking events in that 4-week period. Right? Sometimes you may say a week is too much time, or we end up putting the thing we need to do off. So what can you create for yourself is a list of questions. And here are some of those questions. This may be helpful to help you hold yourself accountable, okay? What are you working on today? That's number 1. Number 2, why is it important? Number 3, when will you do it? Number 4, what are your wins? Number 5, Do you have any notes you want to capture while you're doing XYZ? So doing this is really important, and I believe it should be done every day. Now, I recently started, doing this for myself, and I got to tell you, I didn't like it at first. Really didn't. But when I got down to when will you do XYZ, I was like, I had a little attitude with myself. And I thought, this is interesting. But I did it. And it will get easier over time. Back to the exercise or the getting down to a certain weight. As long as I put that on my calendar and make sure I have the correct foods in the house that I need to eat, then I'll be able to accomplish that goal. And that I have my exercise routine on my calendar as well. Then I will reach the goal I want to reach. And as I said, it will get easier over time. The thing about why is this important really hit me. It caught me for a loop because I thought, why is this important? I have this certain goal I'm trying to meet, and when I just say you should do it, I don't want to. But then when I think about it, what's the flip side of that? Is what's the cost if I do? Or what's the cost if I don't do it? Oh, I want to have that. I want to have that. It's the same thing with the food. What I want is to be a couple of sizes smaller. The flip side of that, when it comes to the food choices and the exercise, is that I'm going to be the weight I want to be if I follow that system, right? If I eat the food and I exercise, I'm going to reach the weight that I want to reach. And I'll feel good about it when I accomplish that goal, right? So really thinking about the flip side of what you'll be giving up if you don't do it sometimes can make the difference, okay? So I really strongly encourage you to do something like writing the questions out and answering them every day and save them. Put your wins on it, whatever your plan is, the system that you come up with to hold yourself accountable. But the first thing is you have to pick the one thing. What is that one thing that's important? If everything is important, then nothing's important. And you're just flipping from thing to thing, right? You can't do that. Second, have a system in place where you can, put your ideas on there and hold yourself accountable for the things that you accomplish as you accomplish them, right? You don't want to stop the ideas from coming. What you want to stop is jumping from thing to thing to thing, because you'll never get the satisfaction or completion feeling, right? If you don't at least accomplish one thing before moving on to the next. So whatever one goal is, make sure you accomplish that goal, then move on to the next one. So stay focused on the prize, right? With the exercise and the food, the prize is me getting down to the weight I want to be. With this 4-week accountability challenge, me going to the 12 networking events, it's going to help me possibly gain those 7 clients I need to gain before the end of the year, right? Stay focused on the end goal. The next thing you want to do is make a plan, or even make a deadline, like with this challenge I just signed up for. I only have 4 weeks. So by the end of those 4 weeks, I need to have attended 12 networking events. Today I'm going to 2. So there's 2 right there, because I just signed up for this networking event like in the last couple of days. So today I'm knocking off 2 of those 12. I normally pick a deadline that I can totally meet. Make a plan, write it down, write down your deadlines, because without deadlines, it sometimes doesn't happen, right? It doesn't happen because of the gibberish in your head. So the gibberish is internal, all that BS we tell ourselves of why we can't do X, Y, Z. And so, I've come up with a phrase that I use that I want to tell you about, but I say it to myself when I get distracted or discouraged, and it happens sometimes even every day. We're not doing that right now. If all that gibberish starts talking and trying to hold me back from doing whatever it is, I'll simply say, we're not doing that right now. We're doing this. And then sit down and get it done. And it really calms me down. Also by maybe putting some music on or, turning music off, whichever is more beneficial. Or getting a small snack, or just walking away from my desk for 5 minutes. Doing that in order to get back on track. Because I know that most of us are fixers or helpers, and we get distracted easily, right? I know I do. And getting distracted will not get you to your goal. So you don't want to continuously get distracted, right? Because that's going to keep you from reaching your goal. The whole thing is that we are in the business of making money. We never really talk about that, but if you're not in it to make money, or you need the money, you should possibly get a job instead, right? Or do volunteer work, whatever the case may be, because the point of this is to make money. That's how you want to spend your time, doing stuff that will make you money, move the needle forward in your business to help make the money that you need to make, right? Organizing your Dropbox isn't going to make you money. Telling someone about your business or going to a networking event is. Writing a newsletter is. Staying in touch with people is, etc. Those are productivity or revenue producing activities, right? We're all in business to make money. Yes, we're also all in business to either sell products or services, whichever one it is you do in your business, right? And that's where you want to spend your time. So my goal for the next 4 weeks is to attend those 12 networking events. By the end of today, 2 of them will be taken care of. I'll have 10 more to go in the next 4 weeks. Right? Set your goal. Set your intention, whatever that is, or whatever that looks like for you. And stick with it. Put a specific system in place. Right? I know exactly. I've broken it down. If I'm going to do 12 in 4 weeks, I'm going to do 3 a week at least, right? So yeah, I did one earlier this week. I'm doing 2 more today. That's my 3 for this week. I can do it. And I know you can too. If you have any questions about what I shared today, please reach out. I'll be happy to have a conversation with you. If you're not a part of the Relationship Communications Facebook group, I'd love to invite you over to join us over on Facebook. It's a free community, free networking community to be a part of. There's various different things in there that we do. We also have a networking mixer once a month. Excuse me. And our next one is going to be on October 29th at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. I do hope you would put that on your calendar and make plans to join us. Come and meet some of the people in the community. We would love to have you and meet you as well. If you do join the community, please introduce yourself. Let us know who you are and what it is that you do. We would love to hear that. There's various different other things that go along with the community as well. We have a VIP club that meets twice a month. Now, that is a paid club to be a part of. It's $27 a month to be a part of the VIP club. And the first meeting is a Q&A. You can come ask any type of questions around business. And it's not just me answering your questions, it's everyone in the room. And then the second time we meet, I like to call it a party. We come and celebrate all our wins, no matter how big or small they may be. So we would love to have you come join us in the VIP club if that's something you think you might be interested in. I will make a post in the group today about the VIP club and also repost about the networking mixer that's coming up soon. Hope everyone has a great weekend, and I will see you again soon.